Hello. I'm in the garage and I have not done anything to this since the first start. Other than I've run it probably twice more. There's a few things that I want to do, so I'm going to take the engine out. Everybody seems to be doing DIY today. There's plenty of people hammering and so there's lots of noises going on. So I'm going to take the exhaust off, drain all the water, take the radiator off. I'm going to dismantle the engine, change the cam bearings and probably change the oil pump as well. It has low oil pressure when hot. All the crank and the bearings, they're not great. They are well worn. But I'm thinking if I've got decent cam bearings and decent oil pump, it will mitigate it and it might tip it from being where I'm not happy to run it to where I will be happy to run. The other thing that I want to do as well is I don't want to put it back in this chassis because all I can do is just run it. And I think I'm just going to glaze all the bores up, and I think I might have even gone that far already. So when it's apart, I'm going to hone the bores and put it back together. But what I'm going to do then, what I think I'm going to do, no promises, is put this motor in the truck so I can run it on the road and run it and drive it straight away, not have it just sitting here idling. The engine from the truck can go in here. So that's kind of my long-term plan going forward. And I'm going to start by starting to dismantle this. Okay? I'll show you a bit more when there's more to show. Cheers then. Bye. That's not good, is it? No wonder the leak got worse. Okay, I haven't got my external audio on because I was just, dismantling that. But there's a problem with that water pump, that one that I did. So, epic fail, as they say. There's a little bit of oil in the cylinders on the other side. I think just running it here, idling, it's glazed the bores. It's not clearing the oil out the bores. So, I'm gonna pull it all down and re-hone it. I'm going to pull it all down anyway, get all the valves out to put the new cam bearings in. So it's alright, it's a little bit warmer today than I thought, so these overalls are too warm now that I'm physically working. So I'm going to go, I'll stop the thing there because the camera's red, and I will put my other overalls on, have a think about what I'm going to do, and then I'll probably carry on another session. Okay, thanks very much for watching then. I'll catch you on the next one. Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. Had a little bit of a problem yesterday. I took the motor out and I lost all the footage, which is really annoying because I filmed, stripping the engine down and things like that. And the engine is now dangling on the hoist over there. So I was thinking, shall I put the motor back in and just film taking it out again? But I then thought, no, there was nothing particularly unusual about it, and to be honest, I'd probably just show it in speeded up form anyway. So unfortunately, I can't show you that footage. I've used a recover program on the card and it just couldn't, I couldn't get it. But I did do something a little bit different. A couple of things. First of all, I slackened these bolts there, those ones, to allow the transmission to flex upwards. So that's helped. And I just lifted the engine and I pressed the clutch pedal and just pushed the engine off the gearbox. So that's a helpful little hint. If you're taking the engine out, so you can just push the engine off the gearbox. And I had the hoist here and I lifted the engine, then I put those pieces of wood there and I lowered the engine onto the pieces of wood, and then what I did, I brought the hoist around here and then I came in from this angle like this and lifted the engine again, and it was a lot easier to then bring the engine back and then manoeuvre it around to there. So only a couple of things there to show you a little bit different than usual, and that was to not try and manhandle the engine all the way around here on the hoist. Just lift it up, put it back down, and then come in from a new angle. But the other thing was, and I'm not trying to be controversial about this, but it was said that you can't take a 32 engine out and put the transmission in. Now, I have a great deal of respect for the person that made that statement. And maybe if you're talking about a more original 32, it might not be possible or easy. But if you do undo the 4 bolts holding the transmission mount to the chassis and allow that to flex, I found that in my circumstances with this car, with this chassis, it was possible. So I'm just putting that out there, that don't take it as read that it is impossible, because it is possible. Well, it was for me. Whether other people will be able to do it, I can't say. But I did do it. That's why I'm a little bit annoyed that I lost the footage. Okay. So here's the engine hanging on the hoist. The only other thing that I've done that was a little bit different than before was. And these are nicely illuminated by the sun coming in the side of the garages. I've made these special studs. Can you see the studs there? And these are made from a wheel stud from a Sherpa van. And they're good material, and they've got 7/16 UNF thread on at this end. So these two have been died down to turned and screw cut to 3/8 thread, and these two have been died down and screw cut to a 7/16 thread, you know, a coarse thread on that end of them. So they went on quite well, and I also lost the footage where I was showing those, but I've bolted it on now, so I'll leave that on. It was far easier to fit the studs and then put the bracket onto the studs than it is to come to it with the bracket and a bolt sticking through the bracket, and you're trying to screw it in the engine, and the engine's moving away like that as you're trying to do it. So I'm well pleased with those studs, they're very good. And I've bolted it on the right hand side because I had a job getting the header to line up on this side, so while it's upside down I'll offer the header up and file the holes to make it a nice fit. Okay, the camera's flashing red, so I'll turn it off now and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Bye. Hello. Right. I haven't been doing any filming because I wanted to just, you know, concentrate on what I was doing. I've put the engine in the stand. I've took the water pump off that was faulty. I've took all the valve gear out. Probably would have been better to have it up the other way, but I've took all the valve gear out. And they're all there. And I've put all the lifters in order on the bootlace. Now I did notice one of these was damaged. I don't know which one. I noticed a crack in one of them, so I'll find that and show that a bit better when I can. So I think I've took out the first two pistons there. Now everything looks okay actually at the bottom end. I can feel a fair bit of wear there. I haven't got any measurements, so I need to get some measure. It might be that it's just worn too much, but you know, I more or less just built it to prove, not try and prove a point, just prove that despite my own judgment I could make it run. I was a little bit surprised to see a fair bit of sort of mess in the bottom of the pan, you know, because this was all clean, but I think it just proves that kind of clean isn't clean enough, and like all this sludge, all this, well, it feels a bit gritty, has all washed out of probably, like, you know, like the balance holes in the crank and things like that, things that I didn't really pay a lot of attention to. It was just a quick and dirty build, really. You know, when you see these ones that are professionally made and they you know, everything's absolutely spotlessly clean, that's how it should be. This was just thrown together with parts that aren't really, you know, fully serviceable. I think all this leak here occurred, you know, after I tipped it upside down. I think. So that's that. So there's the old 59 Flatty being disassembled. I'm not 100% where I'm going with this now. Whether I will, well, I'm just not sure where I'm going with it. I'm going to disassemble it and take stock and then work out what I want to do. I had doubts that this bottom end was good enough. Initial thoughts was that it was okay because it looks so much better than the one in the crusty Flatty, but it is well worn. On the plus side, I think the block is a good usable block with the liners and everything. So, you know, you have to take pros and cons on these jobs, don't you? Okay, I'll leave it at that then for now. So you can see what this engine looks like after a little bit of a strip down. I imagine all these others are much the same as that. Thank you very much for joining me in Mart's garage then. Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you like, and you know, leave a comment. I like it when people leave comments. So take care of yourselves then, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.